Well, hello, and welcome to an Arknights Operator's Mediocre Guide featuring Underflow. Underrated, or overrated, or just a little under your radar by hiding under the table. Wait, we have another Sentry Protector Defender to cover, almost the standard Defender Operator. Blocks 3, can hit airborne enemies, and has an extra 2 tiles of attacking range in front. That's about it, nice and simple. The Lionfish's talent drops a poison on enemies she hits for 3 seconds, dealing up to 90 arts damage each second. On top of that, it promotes discrimination! Woo! Against seaborne enemies, the talent damage is doubled. Not even the flying ones are safe from this seaborne intolerance. It's very similar to Blue Poison's talent minus the speciesism, just some bonus damage from an operator class that isn't always known for high levels of damage. It won't be absolutely vital most of the time, but it is there to help. Skill 1, Invasion Response, raises attack and defense by 50% for 30 seconds. Yep, that's it. Stats-wise, this skill is your only self-inflicted source of defensive buffs, though being an absolutely generic skill, it does have a higher uptime than Skill 2, both having close to identical SP costs, and Skill 1 lasting for twice as long, for holding the line against bulkier enemies if you don't have many better options. Anyways, generic skills out of the way, the second one, Pinning Maneuver, turns Underflow's attacks into bolts that pierce up to 4 enemies. Attack range is extended by 1 tile, attack and attack speed increases by 50% and 50 respectively, and enemies hit are slowed for a quick literal second, all lasting for 15 seconds. And here's a quick visual on that attack speed increase, it's quite noticeable. You've got a cool lane thing going here, you're not so much valuing the damage the skill outputs, believe me it's not a lot, but instead it's the utility provided via the slows that will help out the rest of your squad. So do make sure your positioning takes advantage of inflicting slows on the many approaching enemies. Finding a straight line in which enemies pass through is great for maximizing your slowing potential, almost like an Ifrit lane, but that's definitely not your only option if you get creative. The Pierce can sweep through weaker mobs, and against stronger enemies, these slows can give that extra amount of time needed to defeat them before they start tearing through Underflow, who is likely sitting on the front line anyways. Going over the module quickly, just unlocking it will allow our Sea Patroller to reveal invisible enemies in range, de-stealthifying them. Made slightly better due to the extra tile range with skill 2. Further upgrades only give minor stats, and an even minor increase to the talent's poison damage. So going past the initial unlock is really up to you. So, how do we use Underflow? There isn't really a whole lot to say about the Lionfish, she's just a simple, well-rounded defender with a little bit of range. Skill 2 can be used for most basic tactical options you might want accomplished, stalling, pushing out that little bit of extra damage out, or even being a bulky enough defender. And I say bulky enough because she is one of the less tanky defenders out there, not really having many defensive options herself, unless you really want to use Skill 1. That being said, Underflow still tanks like a defender would, but for the really bad hard hitters, or most bosses, you might consider a bulkier operator. Or more healing, something like that if you really need to hold the line. So we're focusing on the offensive enabling slows she provides for your other operators, which, for multiple incoming enemies, has the potential to group them up for your big hitters. And if you really want to slow things down, just add more slows, or whatever crowd control you've got. There's some nice synergy if you have slows going constantly, operators covering for each other's skill downtime and all that. And as a side tangent, remember that Seaborn racism talent thing earlier? Well, stick her on IS-3, or just integrated strategies in general, cause she's a fairly decent defender option to start out with in that mode. Though in normal play, skill 2's damage isn't gonna make or break a run most of the time, but in IS when you don't have that many options, that extra damage can cover for the early game until you pick up something more potent. And finally, here are Underflow stats, potentials, trust bonuses, base skills, and my E264M3 Underflow. Wearing a sensible outfit for bloody combat, or whatever Seaborns bleed out, if they bleed at all? And that was the Underflow guide. If you want to help who I decide next, subscribe! I can never do one of those calls to action things seriously, which is probably why I don't do them. Anyways, have a nice rest of your day, everyone.